Anthony for breakfast, Albany 783 Triple M. We're talking with Jonathon Woolfrey, HR expert. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning, Anthony.
Now, we're going to talk about performance, the workplace. Most people do come to work to do a good job, and most of the time, workplaces are reasonably pleasant places to be, except when they aren't. And when they aren't, they can be very uncomfortable places for everyone, not just for those that might be underperforming in conflict or in between. What are some of the more obvious challenges in managing performance issues?
I think I see a few of them, and I get asked a lot of questions. I get people tell me how difficult it is to manage performance, how hard it is to sack someone, and everything in between. But I always see some common themes coming through there. It's a disconnect of expectations, a lack of understanding about what the manager might want or what the team member might want from another team member or what someone wants. So, look, every situation is not this simple. But in a vast majority of situations, I think it's about not being specific and not being clear about what each party expects and trying to maybe pick them up for something that you've guessed that they've done wrong, or an employee thinking, gee, I didn't know my manager wanted that, or I didn't do it in the proper way. So I think I'll just summarise it in as a lack of specifics, a lack of clarity, and it comes from a bit of a communication breakdown.
What impact do performance issues have on a team?
Yeah, you've alluded to it there. I think, again, sometimes we look at it when the conflict occurs or when the performance issue is red hot and it's being addressed and things like that. But performance is managed 365 days a year, and we need to think about it there. So even when there's no specific issue in the workplace, other team members are seeing someone underperforming and thinking, well, why am I working an extra hour when they're not? Or why am I not doing this when someone else is? So, these performance issues, if left to go, not only are they, people yelling at each other in the office in the worst case examples, but they're also just people sitting and observing and looking at what, and then, going, well, if they're not doing it, I'm not going to do it. And people notice this. So I think we sometimes look at performance as being an issue between a boss and the staff member, but it affects all of us and brings the whole team down. And like you alluded to before, makes it unpleasant to come to work. So the implications are really wide. And, that flows into different teams, it flows into customers, it flows into clients, etc.
Okay, Jonathan, if you could do just one thing, what would you recommend?
Good question. There's a lot of things and a lot of complexity to it, but the simple takeaway that I would leave people with is be specific about what's expected and keep building upon that specificity, if you want to put it that way. So in workplaces, we talk about values. And I think the notion of values is great, compassion, care, trust, respect, integrity, whatever values might be in some workplaces. But that when people are making decisions about the way they do their work, there's no clear example of what compassion looks like. Does it mean I should give my staff member 2 weeks off because they wanted it, or does it mean I don't because I'm compassionate to the other team members? So sometimes being too vague in regards to what we tell people, and sometimes these value statements and things, whilst well-meaning, are too vague for people to actually make decisions. We go, you weren't compassionate because you didn't do this. So my one piece of advice is be specific, we do not give people 2 weeks off in school holidays because we need to be fair about it. Be specific about what you're expecting from your staff member. Be specific about what you want from your manager. Code of conducts, as boring as they sound, can be really quite useful because they really spell out a well-written one, really specific information that people have, not these nebulous motherhood kind of statements. So, a person isn't, seems checked out. Okay, let's specify to them, you must turn up prepared for a meeting at 8:30 on time. Be clear right from the get-go as often as you can. And then someone will go, okay, they'll do something else. Okay, add that to something that you need to be specific about. So long story short, Anthony, I think if the more specific we are about what we expect from people, we don't have to send them off and have them guessing about what we're looking for and then come down hard on them. And this goes from manager-employee, but also goes from team member to team member. I didn't like the way they looked at me. Tell them, I like it when you say hello or smile in the morning. Be specific, gives people a chance to either say, yeah, okay, I can do that, or I can't because of X, Y, and Z. And that's a much better way of just having people guessing what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
I think it's as simple as that, harder to do in practice.
Great help, though. Thank you very much. HR expert Jonathon Woolfrey. We'll talk again soon.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Anthony.